Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let me get rid of that, make sure my comments are on. Great, good morning. Thank you for joining me today. My name's Amy Surman, and today I'm going to be doing a simple macrame bracelet tutorial for you. I'm doing this on a Facebook Live this morning, so I'm going to let people sign up, give people a little minute to sign up, and then we'll get started. So let me just pop. Okay. I can't see who's joining me. There we go. Okay, good. People are starting to join up. Fantastic. Good morning, everybody. Hi. For some reason, my comments and my when my notifications as to who's watching sometimes doesn't come up. Hi, Jan. Hi, Mum. Hi. Brilliant. Yes, so we're going to be doing a little macrame bracelet this morning. So something very similar to the kumihimo, that style of working, really. So I'm going to get started. We've got a few people watching us already, which is fantastic. Hi. And I know that people like to watch back later in their own time, so that's fantastic. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing. Look at this wonderful macrame. So it's a knotting technique, macrame. So I'm going to show you how you make this braid and then how we finish it off with a button. Good morning, Pauline. Okay, so you can use all sorts of different materials for this, all sorts of different cords. What I'm going to be showing you with is a 1mm cotton, waxed cotton cord. The reason that that's good to use is because it makes quite a nice kind of chunky, you can see the size of that, quite a nice chunky sort of bracelet, as you can see there, okay? But also, when you're knotting it, it doesn't fray, so it doesn't rub and the edges start to fray on it, and some materials would do that, so you do have to be careful. The other cord that's really nice for using for it, look how fine that is. So that's actually the nylon cord. So those of you that have bought nylon for your button necklaces, this is the same cord, a number 18 gauge nylon. And then look, I've got beads and all sorts in there. So I'm going to show you, I'll probably show you something like that on another day actually. Let's start off with something simple this morning. So we sell in the shop these macrame boards. We've just got a delivery in all the way from the States, from Beadsmith. So it comes like this in a pack, and it's got a nice grid on there for you to use, and these are priced at £8.60. The cord is 20p a metre. What you would need is a metre for the inner. Now, if you have a little look at this, there's the outer cord, which is what we knot with, and then there's this inner cord. Okay, so you can use two different colours. You can use the same colours, whichever you prefer to do. So I'm going to use two different colours. I've got a purple for my inner, and I've got a pink for my outer. So what I've done is I'm taking a metre for my inner cord. Basically, so it is big enough to fit around my wrist and then give us a little bit extra. Okay, so I've got a metre there. And then there are all different ways that you can actually finish this. But I'm going to show you using a button. And then I will, I think, next week do another tutorial following on with the macrame of how to finish them off differently. I'll do some more samples this week. So I folded this in half. Okay, so that's my metre of the inner cord. And I folded it in half. Let me just get that in half completely, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose myself a button with a shank on the back. So you see that? So that's called the shank of the button. And you want one like that because they work really nicely for this project. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you can fit that button through a loop that you're going to knot in. So I'm going to just check that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot. So I'm just literally going to pull it over, pull it through the loop there, and pull that down, making sure that my button will go through nicely. So that's about perfect. I'm having to push to get it through, but that's actually ideal. That's exactly what you want. Okay, so that's the first thing, making sure that you've got your loop and your button that you're going to use to finish it fits through. Or you could use a bead as well. So whatever you're using for your fixing at the other end, make sure that it fits through this little loop that we've made. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure that in the top. So this is foam. This is like, if anyone's got a Macrame board, this is very similar to that. So I've secured it in the top, and then I'm going to lay this down flat into the other side, like so. Okay? So that's nice and tight on there. Now, when I was younger, me and my sisters, we used to use a safety pin and either put it in on the legs of our trousers to hold it, or in Mum's sofa. So now I own my own sofa. I know why Mum didn't really like us doing that. So sorry about that, Mum. Okay, now we've got here a 2 meter length of the outer cord. So this is the colour you're going to predominantly see for the knot, all right? And again, I'm folding that in half. Then what I want to do is, at that middle point, can you see what I'm doing? I think you can actually. You can see what I'm doing there, can't you? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into position at the top in the middle point. So I've got 1 meter over this side and I've got 1 meter over this side. So this is my 2 meter outer cord. And then what we do, some of you may remember this, then what we do, okay, so that's it. I've got my meter there. So this is my 2 meters and it's been secured in the middle there at the top, okay? Then what we do is we make a figure, what I describe as a figure of 4, like that. You see that figure of 4 there? Okay, I'm going to have to turn myself around to show you this. So we're going to make a figure of 4 like so. And then what we do is we take this cord, the other end, and see where this is crossing here. We want to go underneath it. So where we're going to go is we're going to go, let's show you with the pair of scissors, we're going to go there. Can you see that? So I'm going underneath the purple and underneath the pink, but I'm making sure that this is on top of the pink over here. Okay, so what we do is we do this. That's going to go, it's on the top there, and then it goes underneath and underneath the purple, like that. I'm going to pull that through, make sure that this is, whoop, sorry guys, make sure that this is still secured at the top, and then I'm going to pull it and make a little knot at the top. All right, I'm going to do the same again, and we keep repeating that. I'm going to do it down here. So I make my figure of 4. Can you see that? Give us a comment, people. Let's see. Can you see that? Jan, can you see it? I think you can. Okay, so we're doing a figure of 4. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cord on this side. I'm going to go underneath where the cord's crossing. And then I'm going to pull this side out and this side out. Brilliant, Jan, thank you. There we go. We're going to pull out like that and pull tight. Same again, figure of 4. Over the top and underneath where it's crossing, and then pull tight. So I'm just going to get a few done quickly because then it secures it in place. And then I'm going to go over that with you again, and I'm going to show you so you can see it kind of straight on, and I'll do it backwards if I can. I'll try my best. So we're doing exactly the same stitch. We're doing our figure of 4, we're pushing it underneath, and then we're pulling both pieces of cord at the same time so they're nice and tight. Figure of 4, this one goes over the top of that pink, but underneath everything where it crosses, and then we pull nice and tight. And then when I get to the top there, you see what I'm doing here? I'm pulling, okay? So we go across. Good, Pauline, you can see too. That's great. So we're going like that, and then we're pulling. I'm going to start getting some more sophisticated recording equipment for you all, and then maybe I can do a tutorial where it's coming a bit more down onto the surface there. Getting very high tech. Okay, let's show you. So look what happens. I keep doing it the same way and it makes this fantastic turn. Can you see that? I can show you here as well. Look. It's great, isn't it? All right, so let's show you again. So, figure of 4. Let's get this one out of the way for now. Figure of 4, like so. See that? There's my figure of 4. And then this one comes over the top. And then it goes underneath here like this. Fahid, are you being awkward? Like this. Okay. And then pull like so. Nice and tight. So again, figure of 4. This comes, whoops. Feel like you're getting a little bit tangled up. Imagine if you were doing a necklace, how long you'd have to work with it. You'd really have to work with it very long. Okay, so figure of 4 there. Then this one comes. You can tuck it in there if you want to. You don't need to. I wouldn't if you were working, but just to show you for this, I think that's quite good to do. And then over the top, and then we're going underneath this point here, all the way underneath. So we're going underneath the whole thing there, okay? So I'm going to put my end underneath into there, and then I can pull both ends at the same time to make sure that it goes all the way to the top and pull it nice and tight like that. Okay, would be great for beaded necklaces where the multi-strands of beads with them. Definitely. Now I did have, I'll need to find out the samples. I made one with a PMC bead actually, where I put a metal clay bead that I made in the middle and just hung it on some threads through the hole, and then I macrame'd up both sides. So it's a really nice way of making quite a simple, well, I say simple, it's not that simple, is it really? But it is in terms of kind of how it will look in terms of the making that focal bead, the focal bead, and not having many other beads around the side. How long would the cord need to be for a necklace? 3 meters. Well, yeah, I would, Kat. I would kind of treble it, I think, because if you think a necklace, a bracelet is about 6-7 inches. I'd say 7 inches. So if you made that 3 times the length, then you're going to be able to make between an 18 to a 20 inch necklace. Okay, so I would kind of make it sort of 3 times the length. And then I'm going to go back under there. But look, it's very satisfying as well. And you don't need many materials. You don't need many tools at all for it. I mean, the macrame boards, you could just take a pin and pin it onto a surface. You could do that. The macrame boards do make the job easier, I've got to say, because it just holds it in place. And as you can see on this one, I have lots of different projects on the go. Okay. So I do lots of different projects on there, and then I can just keep them all in place rather than having them sort of pinned down in various places. There we go. You just keep going like that. How much fun is that? All right, now once we've got that, then what we're going to do is, once you've achieved the length, so like I said, bracelet, 6 to 7 inches possibly, but again, up to you. What I specified there, 1 meter inner cord and 2 meter outer cord, will give you at the maximum, I would say, 7.5 inches. So if you need it bigger, then you need to just increase it a little bit more. You could use a cardboard box. You could, Pauline, absolutely. Sometimes what I find with cardboard is it will bend. So do be careful of that. You could maybe create a board where you're putting 2 pieces of cardboard together, so it's running, so the grain of it as such is running in opposite directions. Then it won't bend as easily. But yes, you could do that, absolutely. Okay, now once we've got this, we've got our loop at the top there that our button fits into because we measured it first thing, didn't we? Okay, and then we've got these 4 cords at the end that are coming through there. Now, what would be really good is if the 2 inners, and in this case it's the lighter green, would fit through the hole in the shank on the button. Doesn't always, because sometimes you're not using a really big button. Hi, Vicky. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to put one cord through. Now, a little tip with threading cords through loops and through holes in things, if it's not going through because the end is fraying, cut it at an angle. Don't cut it straight. Cut it at an angle like this. So you make yourself, can you see how I've made it at a slant there? And then you can get it through a bit easier. So then put that through. That goes through nice and easy. So that's the only thing really that you need for this project. A pair of scissors. Oh, and your board if you're going to get a board. So there we go. That's what we've got. We've got one piece of that cord through the button. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all these pieces down here. I'm going to tie the two inners together, okay? So now I like to wrap it around my finger, pull it through, and then push that down towards the button there. And really pull each section. So I'm going to pull that nice and tight, pull that nice and tight. There. Look at that. Okay, so really nice and tight down at the bottom there. And then with this one, the outers, I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to tie a little knot on this side as well. And it's all hidden behind the button there, so you don't see it. Okay, so let's do a little one there as well. So you see what I'm doing is I'm holding both pieces together, and then I'm tying a knot like so. There are all sorts of different ways of finishing these off actually, like I mentioned before. So I'm going to do some more examples for you over this week, and then I think I'm going to come back on next week and show you some more macrame, because it's so much fun and there's so many different options that you can do with it. Okay, there we go. So we've got our two little knots at the back there, just tucked in behind. And then what you could do if you wanted to, just to feel that it's a little bit more secure, is you could just pop a little bit of glue on those knots, okay? And then what we can do is we can snip those off. Let's snip that one off first. And then that one off. There we go. And there you've got your bracelet. There. You've got a nice little button at the back there, okay? So, and it's just hidden. You can't see the knots there, you know, it's just hidden behind the button. And it's nice and it's quite straight, and it's easy to get on as well. There we go, okay? Now, I was going to just show you these. So like I said, these are made with the nylon cord. So again, I've got my inner and I've got my outer, and I've used the same size. I've used the same amount there for making these. Look at this one. So this one, what I've done here is, rather than starting it off with a loop at the top, I've actually looped it around a silver ring and then started to macrame from both sides. So when that's being worn, it'll look lovely as a centerpiece in the middle. Okay, so you could do anything there really. The other thing that you could do, lots of different ideas, but I will come back and show you these in more detail next week, I think. But another thing that you could do is you could place a big button on there as a middle piece. So if you imagine you started to do some macrame, you put a bead in, or a button actually, or a bead in there, and then you continue to macrame when you've got past there. So you could put a bead so it sits on all four of these cords, or you can put it so it just sits on the middle cord. So there's lots of different variations that you can do with it, and yeah, and you just need to have a play around with different cords really. So I hope you've enjoyed that today, a little short video on how to make a simple macrame bracelet. One thing to say actually that I didn't highlight to you, look at the difference. So see, this one is twisted, this one's flat. Okay, so we're going to have a little look at doing that. I'm going to show you some other patterns when we come back and do it again next week for you. But this is a nice simple one to get you started if you wanted to have a go at that at home. I will follow this with a post up with all the materials, with lengths and the details of the lengths of cord after the session. And if you've got any questions, feel free to email me or send me a message on Facebook and I'll respond as quickly as I can. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, have a good week, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye.